Hey, it's this passing for CardRunners.com, and today I have the first part of as you can see, a live session review at PLO 100. There are two 50 PLO tables on the screen right now, and the reason for that is I wasn't sure if I was going to get enough 100 games going to cover the screen. This was played yesterday afternoon, Asia time, so all the action's pretty fresh in my mind, but yeah, I just wasn't sure if there was enough games running. But as you'll see in a second, the screen will fill with 6 PLO 100 tables. My goal for this, I think it's going to be a 2-part series. I have about 48 minutes or so of footage to go through, so that's about 2 good parts. My goal for this series is not to focus as much on math stuff as I have been in some other videos. My first session, my first hand history review video comes out tomorrow. I think that's the 25th or so of October, so long before this comes out. And I really enjoy doing all kinds of math and more GTO kind of topic stuff. But as far as for a live session review video, it's kind of if I get into the math on each hand, it's going to get kind of bogged down and a little bit boring. So while I'm not going to not focus on math in this, I will pause the video and do some calculations if I feel it's really interesting or necessary. But for the most part, I'm just going to be getting into reads and game flow stuff and other stuff besides really extensive GTO stuff. So without further ado, let's get into the footage. Like usual, it's tables 1 through 6. And yeah, let's get rolling. I do have my old avatar from several years ago. Hopefully it can bring me the run good. The lips. Action's going to start on table 5 here. I usually don't like to break down other players' games too much, but I feel it's kind of necessary for this this little battle we're going to have here with Olga. If you've played on Stars in the past 5 years, anywhere from small stakes to mid stakes, you've played with Olga before. She mass tables, and I think she's S&E, and I'm pretty sure even with her short stacking, I'm going to say her. I'm not totally positive, but it is Olga, so I'll say her. Even with her short stacking, I believe she was a decently like a decent winner in the games at least a couple years ago. Recently, she's been full stacking some at PLO 50 and maybe higher, and also starting some tables. But she's never started tables with me. Whenever I sit down with her, she always sits out. But in this session, it's the very first time I've played her heads up to start a table. So that in mind, I think it's important because most 6-max players who don't start tables may be kind of afraid of heads up or shorthanded, and I think Olga, that kind of applies to her. I've never seen her play heads up or shorthanded before. I guess a decent analogy would be if you compare players who are maybe new to poker and play a lot of sit and goes, they're not as experienced as heads up play when it gets to the end of the tourney or the sit and go. I think that kind of applies here to our friend Olga. Obviously opening kings. And I'm always making small sizes when I open on the button, but definitely versus a short stacker. Always keep that in mind. And on this flop, it gets checked to us eventually by Olga. And against some players, you might want to check back, but with my history versus Olga, she's never messing around on this board, like check raising light or anything. So sort of bet for protection / some value. I don't have to worry about value cutting myself because I think Olga's always go 3-bet her aces here pre-flop, especially heads up, I would assume.